Good morning. Good morning, Dave. I haven't seen you in the yoga room in a while. I think you've been busy with other things, and that's good. Um, so here we are, Saturday. Haven't done Saturday yoga in a little bit, but I'm not sure what today is going to be. I thought I was going to work on my fence, and I might, but it's also raining, or it was raining. So I don't know. We'll see. Um, we'll try to be flexible and see how the day unfolds. Um, so, what should we talk about today? Um, I don't know. Let's talk about, let's talk about the beginner's mind. That's a good one. I'm I'm looking at my list of yearly subjects that I like to go through, and that's one of them that I touch on um, fairly frequently. Um, so I think earlier this week we were talking about this idea that as a beginner, you don't want to compare yourself to people who are very skilled um, in in their practice of any sort. This is kind of a source of frustration, right? I mean, it's okay to like if you feel inspired, right, by people who are very advanced or competent in whatever skill it is you're pursuing, but don't let that get you down, right? Um, Again, we have this obsession with the end result and the final outcome, but we skip the process, right? We forget. It's not as like cinematic or interesting um, all that time in between where you're just working and practicing and learning. Um, so yeah, that's we want to avoid that. But on the other hand, if you are and if you if you are very skilled at something, or even if you're not very skilled at something, but this especially applies to people who are skilled at things and or have been doing things for a long time, right? Um, you may or may not be skilled at it, but you're experienced, right? These people, they're where they kind of fall down is thinking they're done, thinking that they know everything. Um, they get complacent and sort of self-satisfied, which is never a good way to be, right? Um, there is always something new. And even if there isn't something new right now, there's a new way of looking at it. So, having a beginner's mind, right? The beginner's mind is amazing, right? This allows us to jump out of our rut, jump out of our um, pigeonhole way of thinking. So, um, and this can be challenging, right? A lot of times people don't like this. People, they want to do things all the same way they've always done it. And it's like, the emperor's new clothes, where you have somebody pointing out, oh, okay, but what about this? I mean, I see this obvious thing that you all have like forgotten or chosen not to see because for whatever reason. But here's the reality. The reality is it is this. Um, as you know, yoga is the search for truth. It is that it is nothing without the reality and the truth of what is going on. If you are um, not seeing the truth and living the truth, you're caught up in this, this other world that doesn't have anything to do with yoga. So keeping a beginner's mind, taking a fresh look at things, can help you see where you might be off course here. Um, and it gives you the permission to start again, to learn something about what you're doing and learn something about yourself, not thinking you know everything, not coasting, right, as it were. Um, that's one of the worst things, right, about a long term practice of anything is that you think you have it all figured out. You stop really looking at what you're doing, and instead you're just sort of on autopilot, right? Um, and our challenge is not to do that, not to do that with anything. Um, Everything that we do can be a practice, it can be a meditation, and it can be something that we are doing to improve where we are, not just treading water, right? And when we have this attitude, tasks become opportunities, chores become challenges, right? Instead of dreading emptying that dishwasher for the 10,000th time, what if you were to practice, really noticing, right, each and every item in the dishwasher? Where did this come from? Do you remember? Um, what meaning does this hold? And maybe even better, do I need this? Right? Is this junk or is this useful? Um, I find something like habitual chores like emptying the dishwasher, putting the dishes away, um, putting laundry away. These can be very kind of meditative practices if you choose to make it that way. There are also great opportunities to look at what's happening, right? So if you notice that you're always putting exactly the same things in the cabinets from the dishwasher, take a look at your cabinets. What's all that other stuff for? Do you even need it? Maybe not. Maybe half of it you could get rid of, leaving you more space for the things that you do use. Same thing with laundry, right? I forget what the statistic is, but it's something crazy. People have like five or so times as much clothing as they actually wear. Um, I know I do right now. This past pandemic, I have collected clothing at an alarming rate. I don't really know why. I'm not sure what it was about. I went for a lot of years when my kids were younger without spending much money on clothing. Um, and then something happened these past couple of years. And I think it probably has something to do with pandemic, you know, hoarding clothing, stocking up. I don't really know what it is, but it's too much. And it's time I really need to pick through and get rid of. Think of it as giving, right? You are giving to others when you are taking the things that you don't need out of your house and passing them on to someone else. Um, so again, see how something so simple can be part of our practice, part of our yoga mindfulness journey here. Um, and it doesn't have to be like a big stress thing. It doesn't have to be like, okay, now I'm going to sit down and do this. It's something you do every day anyway. Just notice what you're doing, right? Instead of just automatically doing these things, notice what's happening. What am I doing? This is a way to make your practice live in your day. Um, it doesn't have to be something separate and something that is confined to your yoga space. You know, it lives with you. You know, you carry it with you every day, all day, everywhere you go. So make the most of it, right? And keep that openness that we have as a beginner. If you think about when you started your practice, you didn't know anything. You obviously were open to learning, right? You took that leap. Um, you were willing to have someone demonstrate something to you, or tell you something to get you on your way. Um, Keep that feeling, keep that openness. Um, be willing to make some mistakes and to acknowledge the mistakes and move on. This fear of failure is so crippling, it's so paralyzing. Um, it causes us to do nothing, to stay still and let all of these opportunities pass us by, or to just not improve, to just stay static. And we've talked about this before. If you're not improving, you are deteriorating, right? That's You're never staying still. You might think you're staying still. You might feel like you're staying still, but you're not. You're going you're going that way or this way. Take your pick. Um, Holding on to what's happening now is pointless because it's gone. The moment you grasp it, it is gone, and the next thing has already come. You're still back there wondering what happened. That's not where we want to be. Keeping that freshness, keeping that ability to adapt, to try something new. This will keep you um, current, right? It will keep you improving, right? Because we all want to improve. We don't really want to stay where we are. We may like what's happening now, but we know on some level that this will not be the same. It will never be the same today as tomorrow and days beyond. Um, it can be better, right? That's what we're going for. Better and better. Um, so be open to that. Be uh, flexible. So this will keep you young, right? What ages us is the rigidity. And it's a rigidity of thinking, but also of body. And um, I've never, I don't, I've read this numerous places, and I don't know about this for sure. But what I have read is the more advanced you are in your practice, the more unattached, the more you have traveled down this yoga path, the less you need the asana. Your body will actually reflect your mental, spiritual state so that you are flexible in mind, body, spirit, all of these things. It is our clinging and our attachment that causes that rigidity. Right? Um, Now, it's not unconscious, right? We aren't doing, I mean, it is unconscious. We're not doing this on purpose. It's like this idea that illness begins within, it begins kind of in um, our kind of spiritual, mental state, right? But it's not, we don't cause it. It is an unconscious process, like your heart beating or your breath. Um, it is just it arises. So the same thing with this. You can't control it, but yet it's a reflection. They are inextricably linked. So just as children, right? Children don't have to work at being flexible. They are flexible. That is who they are. That is what they are. They're flexible, mind, body, spirit. They are infinitely adaptable. We lose that, not, right? It's like the chicken or the egg. Do we lose it because we become less active or because we become more attached? Or is it somewhere in between? Both. So if you can keep your mind attitude flexible and young and willing to accept new things, not be that person like, oh, well, back in my day, everything was great and now everything stinks, right? Don't be attached to the past. Don't be fearful of the future. be right in between, right? Be ready for anything. This will keep you flexible. Um, and you can think about it. It all kind of reflects one another, right? If you think about something that is rigid and fixed, this does not. It's going to break, right? Those things will break. It is the things that are um, flexible, are loosely attached, can move, right? Those are the things that make it. They go through the storm unscathed. They don't get knocked over. They come right back. So that's what we want. Take your, whatever um, natural uh, example you want. So all of these things are reflected in the world. We can take our inspiration there. We can learn our lessons there and um, see what we can do with it. So be a beginner. Don't judge. Don't beat yourself up. Every practice, every day is new. It's a new opportunity. Even if you feel like you screwed everything up yesterday, today is a new opportunity to do better, to improve. And if you don't do as much as you'd like today, well, there's always tomorrow. Um, it's the blessing and the curse, right, of our existence is that there's always a tomorrow until there isn't. But it doesn't stop coming, right? If you don't get it right today, you have opportunities tomorrow. Um, Lots of opportunities, right? You're going to have so many challenges in your life, so many opportunities to pick the right choice. And you're not going to make the right choice all the time. You never do. But it doesn't matter because there's always tomorrow and the day after that and the day after that. Um, don't count on it, right? Because no one knows how many days we actually have. But don't despair, right? If you do something and it turns out so badly, don't don't stay stuck in that. Just learn that lesson and make a better choice next time. Um, Beginners don't mind messing up. Beginners, hopefully, right? Beginners understand that there's a learning curve. There is uh, there is going to be a long time before they have all of the tools, the experience, um, to do a good job with what they're given. Um, they're going to do not such a great job at first, and that's okay because that's that's what happens. That's how we get to where we want to be. It doesn't happen immediately. It is a process, and we don't want to forget that process. We never want to forget the process because we're never done. There's always more to learn. There's always um, a better version of what we are doing. Um, it can, I mean, if you're a perfectionist or you're somebody who really appreciates and holds yourself to a very high standard, this can be maddening, this idea that you're never done. But if you do have those feelings, that's something you need to really absorb. You need to know that you will never be done. So let go of that. Let go of that feeling that there is a ultimate perfection because there isn't, right? The only real perfection is here. Perfection is the one. It is all of us together, and it is the only. Um, you're never going to get there on your own, right? You're never going to be um, uh, as a physical being, you will never achieve perfection, right? As part of the whole, you will be. I mean, that spirit is perfection, but we we are not able to reflect that in our physical form because that's just the nature of where we are. So don't waste time trying to make that happen. Just make your best, do your best, and know that the more we do it, the more we practice, the more we the time that we put into all these things is not wasted. It is um, building one on another to um, to get us right in a good place. Um, it gets easier, right? That much we do know, and hopefully you know this as well. That your practice, just as your asana, right, gets easier the more you're aware of it and the more you've done it. So does all of your practice. But that's the trap, right? Don't let it feel like um, it's so easy because you have it all figured out. If it feels like that, chances are you've already just kind of you're sort of slacking on this, right? It's not meant to be easy. It's meant to be gentle, right? All right. So let's do a little asana. Maybe we'll do our Agnisara, right? So we did a little Agnisara earlier in the week. Um, we'll do some today. Remember, it's that movement of the lower abdominal area, um, kind of in a wave. It's almost like a wave moving up. So we're tightening that perineum, right? And holding in lower belly, moving up, trying to kind of suck this area up under the ribs if possible, and then release. And we're trying to release, it's like kind of in the same order that we brought it up. So we're going from the bottom up and then up and back down. Uh, this is on the exhale, right? So you can probably imagine we're trying to press the air out. I think we talked about a toothpaste tube, right? So we're rolling the toothpaste tube up and air is coming out, and then releasing and air comes back in. So you could do this, maybe 10 times or so. You don't even have to do it all that much. It doesn't have to be a very exaggerated movement. It can be kind of, it may not be that much at first. If you're not used to using these muscles in that way, it's going to take a little bit. You may not make that connection at first, right? You're like, I don't know what's happening here. And that's okay. Just keep trying, sort of visualize what's happening in the body, and it will get easier. Um, it's not, you don't want to hold it, right? We're not trying to hold the breath. You may find yourself sort of holding the breath at first, but we want to keep the breath moving, and we want to have it be sort of a smooth thing. So I'm thinking probably a count of 4 in, maybe a count of 4 to release. You may be a little more, a little less than that. If you're not having any luck with this at all, like you're just like, I don't even know, then just try moving in and out, in and out, and do that for a little while until you feel like you have enough control over um, the muscles and what they're doing to make it a little more, a little deeper, and do a little more. Just like all of your practice, there are layers, right? So in your physical body, there are layers. There's outer muscle, there's inner muscle. Um, if you haven't moved these things in this way, you're you it's going to take a little bit to make that connection between Okay, here's what I'm trying to think my body should do, and then your body actually doing that. Yoga is nothing but a series of unfamiliar movements, right? Or movements done in an unfamiliar way. So making that connection is important, and then continuing, right? So try that. If you're trying to kind of get into Agnisara, try doing it every day. Try just a little bit, and you'll notice, like maybe third or fourth day, you're moving a little more. Maybe after a week, oh yeah, you really know what you're doing here, and then just keep going. As always, on an empty stomach. Don't do it if you have food in your stomach. Water is okay. Liquids. I mean, you're not going to hurt yourself, right? You're not going to do this to the extreme where you could, but you're going to upset your stomach because you're moving all of this area, and that's the point, right? Agnisara is meant to stimulate your digestion. If you're having digestive issues, it's great, but I mean, you don't have to have digestive issues to do it. You are stoking that flame. You are kind of kindling the fire. So imagine your fire is all embers, and you're getting out there with the sticks and stirring it up. That's what this movement is for. It's kind of massaging that whole digestive area. It's stimulating the movement, that peristalsis that moves things through the body, and also stimulating the digestive juices and everything kind of getting ready. So it's a great practice before you eat, to kind of get your body primed up for that. Especially if you're having some trouble digesting different foods, things like that. Try some Agnisara. See if, rather than avoiding some of those food groups that you have had some issues with, see if perking up your digestion doesn't improve your ability to digest some of these foods that you like to eat. We're trying to make our body more adaptable. And instead of avoiding situations and things and people and food that doesn't agree with us, we want to make ourselves more agreeable. We want to make ourselves more able to exist comfortably in a sea of chaos, right? Because that's the only way to get through life, right? To chart your course and sail your boat, no matter what the seas are doing. So, yeah, that's what we're doing. So, Agnisara, give it a try, and if you have questions about it, send me an email. I can send you some links to some good, like more clear pictures of what it is. But honestly, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. If you want to get into like the really complicated stuff, and once you've built up this structure, that basic ability to move and the abdominal strength and flexibility there, you can get into some more complicated things that do other things with the body. But that's further down the line. You don't need to worry about that. All right, so sitting up tall. Let's lean forward here. Walk the hands out. And then bring that left hand on your hip. And we're just going to press down here and look to the left. Switch. We're back up, hands behind you, fingertips point away, squeeze the shoulders together, gaze up. Arms wide, take a breath, and then exhale with hands together. Inhale. And exhale. Interlace the fingers, gaze up. And then arms down by your side. Left hand on right knee, right arm behind. Sit tall and twist. Switching sides. Soles of the feet together, sit tall, fold forward. Come on back up. Left knee out in front, right leg on top. See if you can sort of stack the knees. Take a breath, fold. And we're back up, switch it around. Okay, and fold. And let's grab a hold of the toes or the tops of the feet, leaning back to get your balance. And then some extension. You go halfway or full extension. And then feet are back down. Left leg out. Right leg is, knee is bent, sitting tall. Drop the shoulders. Lower the knee so you've got the foot close to the thigh. Sitting up tall, we're going to initiate the movement here at the hip, right? So we aren't starting here, we're starting down here. And we're going to travel that way before we even bring the arm out. Back up, switch around. Take that breath, lean in and fold. This hamstring is very tight today, so I'm going to be careful, right? I don't know why. Who knows why? So this is something I've struggled with is the desire to know why. I always want to know why. I always want an explanation for everything. I want to understand the motivation behind what happened, what somebody did, what was what caused it. What was the cause? What can I do in the future to avoid it? Right? This is a very common thing, right? And to some extent, it makes sense, right? Point and flex the feet. We want to understand, right? But know that you don't have to understand or be able to trace the course of events or be able to assign blame or whatever it is you want to do, rotate, to solve the problem or to deal with the problem. Sometimes things are unknowable, and then rotate. And that's okay. Right? We don't have to have everything figured out to solve our problem. What we need to do is see what's really happening and deal with what's really happening right now. That's it. Right? All that other stuff is just extra. Don't get hung up in the planning stage, right? Spend more time in the acting phase. All right, so we're going to fold forward, but for this one, we usually lift the arms up, but for this one, we're going to bring the arms behind. So this is a great practice to remind you about moving from the hip instead of up here, right? Because we are leaning forward with the body, but the arms are behind, right? So how far down can you go? And then we're back up. Let's lift the shoulders, roll them back. And then forward. Bend the knees. And we're going to lower down on our back here. Take a few breaths. Bending the right knee, we're going to bring the ankle on top of the left. And then supine pigeon. Maybe that left leg comes in, or maybe you keep the left foot on the floor and press that right knee away. Either way, we're working on that hip flexibility through the right. And then set the foot down. Let's keep that right ankle on top of the knee. Goalpost arms or arms to a T, and then lowering the left knee. The right foot is going along, and we're gazing to the right. So setting that gaze opposite of your twist helps keep the shoulders stable on the mat. And it makes this more of a twist than a roll, right? If you're gazing the same direction, you can feel your whole body will start to pull over to that side. Come on back up, switch it around. And breathe. And set the foot down. We're here, and then we're lowering. Gazing left. And then set the foot down. We're going to bump the knees together and just breathe here. And then we're going to set up for bridge. So I'm going to do regular bridge. If you want to do supported bridge, you can. That's fine. Your choice. We got hands by the side, pressing down, hands and feet, lifting up with the body. Breathe. Then lowering. Let's bring soles of the feet together. Knees apart. Take a few breaths. And then moving into Shavasana from here, you can extend the legs and just breathe. If you want to take an extra twist or do some other movement before you are ready to settle down, that's fine. Find that peaceful breath, the peaceful state of mind, keeping your focus here, present in the moment, not dreaming of something else. Notice the body and the breath. Staying anchored in this present moment is important. Right? When we wish we were somewhere else or allow our mind to go somewhere else, we are robbing ourselves of the experience of being in this moment. This moment may not be scintillating or thrilling. It may not be as interesting as the story that's playing in your mind, but it's real. It is here. When we slip away to our own private fantasy land, right, in our head, we stop being present. We stop engaging in our life. We are living, but not living. We are sleepwalking through our life. It's a bad habit, and it is just a habit, right? It's a habit we can break. We can pull that attention back to what's here. We can learn to sit with discomfort, with boredom, with the routine in and out, day after day life, which is beautiful and frustrating and annoying and sometimes terrifying and sometimes joyous and blissful. It is what's real. And at the end, that is what we seek. So, moving then fingers, toes, hands, and feet, getting yourself back into connection with the body, right? And then we're moving up to a seat if you want. You could also just rest on the mat if you want to do that for your meditation. We'll bring hands together, breath in and breath out. Thank you for taking some time this Saturday morning for yoga and for sharing with me here. Hope you have a very good day and weekend. Namaste. Okay, meditation. We're going to jump right in. Be comfortable. Find a seat, maybe a cushion, maybe a chair. I'm not going to tell you what to do here. This is up to you. What is what's your favorite? Right? And if you've always done it the same way, maybe try it a different way. Maybe you'll find a new favorite. Who knows? That peaceful state of mind. Breathe, relax. Okay, we're back. Hopefully that was a peaceful 5 minutes. I wish you a pleasant and maybe productive weekend. If you have anything on your schedule, and I'll be back on Monday.